What does it look like to jump into the water from the height of a 19-story building? Is it true that a painting can be as big as 4 basketball courts? And how do you ride the world's most unusual skateboard? Today, you'll learn the answers to these questions and more. This is Infinity, and in this episode, I'll show you 10 impressive Guinness World Records that no one can break. The highest jump into the water. What was the maximum height from which you jumped into the pool? Was it a regular bollard pole to jump from, or an edge of the pool, or a full-fledged several meters high springboard? Or maybe you even jumped into the water from a cliff in the great outdoors. Lasso Schaller loves high and long cliff jumps like no one else. So much so that he set a crazy record in 2015. I don't even know if anyone can beat him, because this Swiss thrill-seeker made an incredible jump in his home country, jumping off a 58.8 meters high cliff. To make it clear, that's about 19 stories, or the height of the Tower of Pisa. Even a jump from lesser height is fraught with serious injuries and death, let alone jumping off almost 60 meters cliff. But Lasso, being a professional, did everything correctly. He jumped and accurately entered the water. By the way, he had a speed of 123 kilometers per hour. It's difficult to imagine what Lasso felt flying towards the water. The reservoir Lasso landed in was pretty deep. I don't think he reached the bottom, but what about no less extreme discipline of jumping into a shallow pool? How shallow? How do you like the figure of 30 centimeters? It's hard to believe that such a thing is possible, especially when it comes to jumping flat on the stomach from a height of 11 meters. But Darren Taylor is a man who can do that. That's why they call him Professor Splash. In 2011, he set a record in Trondheim, Norway, jumping from a height of 11.2 meters into an inflatable pool with 30 centimeters of water. In 2014, Professor Splash broke his own record, increasing the height to 11.56 meters. As Taylor himself says, the main thing in such jumps is a special technique. You need to choose the right moment for the jump, and during the landing, you should try to splash out as much water from the pool as possible. Surprisingly, despite such a dangerous activity, in his entire career, Taylor has never been injured while jumping. The fastest on hands. Some records are astonishing, and some are also very motivating. Zion Clark's achievement is just that. This guy is missing the lower half of his body, but that doesn't stop him from moving very fast. Last year, Clark set a Guinness World Record by running 20 meters on his hands in under 5 seconds. It's hard to argue that this is a phenomenal result. I'm sure quite a few people would run the same distance slower than Clark did on his hands. In general, Zion doesn't just run around the stadiums, he's also an excellent wrestler who is even recognized as the best in his state. You bet he was. In spite of the lack of legs, Zion easily defeats even fully healthy athletes. In his spare time, Zion works as a motivational speaker. Clark plans to become the first American to compete in both the Olympic and Paralympic Games. Plank. In early 2020, 62-year-old Marine George Hood stunned the world by holding a plank for 8 hours and 15 minutes continuously. That sounds like an outrageous result to me, but surprisingly, it was beaten quickly. Last year, the triumphant was an Australian, Daniel Scally, 9 hours, 30 minutes, and 1 second. That's how long he held a plank, balancing on his elbows. Daniel wasn't even close to a Marine. In fact, he set an unbelievable record while suffering from complex regional pain syndrome, which manifests itself in constant pain in his left arm. That makes his achievement even more incredible. I wanted to prove to people that no matter what pain barriers you have, if you put your mind to it and you believe you can do it, you can achieve it, is what the record holder said of his achievement. Do you think anyone can beat Daniel and hold a plank even longer? Share your thoughts in the comments. And of course, stay tuned to see other impressive Guinness World Records that are sure to surprise you. Take a look at this shot. 5 guys standing on a giant skateboard. Is this a shot from a Naughty's music video with a lot of computer graphics? Or is it a badly photoshopped picture? Surprisingly, the picture is absolutely real. You can see the world's largest skateboard, which was designed by Joe Ciaglia and Rob Dyrdek. About 10 years ago, they created this skateboard, which quickly got into the Guinness Book of Records and remains there to this day. It's hard to surpass the creation of Siaglia and Direk, which is 11.1 meters long, 2.6 meters wide, 1.1 meters high, and weighs 1,632 kilograms. If you're not Gulliver, then you can't perform the ollie or kickflip using the skateboard. But it is possible to ride this monster. Since I'm talking about skateboards, why not talk about limbo skating? It's a discipline in which an athlete has to skate under low barriers while doing the splits. It may not sound very interesting, but look at how it's done by Shristi Sharma. Several months ago, this girl from India set an amazing record, skating under 10 hurdles while doing the splits in 1.69 seconds. This looks epic. You know what looks even more epic? A usual limbo.
Wow! Wow! Wow!
Many of you may have played this game as children. How much did you have to bend to get under the barrier? It's unlikely you crawled under a 30-centimeter high barrier, right? It seems unrealistic in general, but look at how Shamika Campbell does it. The height of the barriers is 30 centimeters, and the distance is 3 meters. Note that she does not crawl on her knees. Shamika moves exactly on her feet. It's yet another proof that the human body is capable of the most incredible things. 12 backflips in 1 minute is an incredible result. But what about 12 fire-breathing, full twist backflips? A few years ago, acrobat Aidan Malarsia set an incredible record in Sydney by doing 12 backflips while blowing fire out of his mouth. When we come to museums, we're struck by the paintings, not only in terms of their beauty, but also in terms of scale. A floor-to-ceiling painting in a museum is commonplace. But in fact, all of these works of art are still very small compared to the journey of humanity. That's the name of the largest painting in the world. The size is astonishing. The total area of this creation reaches almost 1,600 square meters. The artist of the record-breaking painting is Sasha Jaffrey. Last year was very successful for him. He not only got in the Guinness Book of Records, but also earned a lot of money. The painting was sold at an auction in Dubai for $62 million. This was double what Sasha had originally hoped for. By the way, the artist had not taken so much time to create a record-breaking painting. It took only 7 months for him. It's possible that after a couple of years, Jaffrey will beat his own record and paint an even more gigantic painting. Who says dragons don't exist? Then what's this? Only a real Dovahkiin can handle it. Joking aside, this is another amazing record. The largest walking robot on the planet. This is the brainchild of the Germany company Zollner Elektronik AG. Several years ago, they created this robot, which was called Fanny. 4-legged technological wonder weighs 11 tons, and its length reaches 15 meters. In the chest of the robot, there's a fiery diesel engine with a capacity of 2 liters and 140 horsepower. Fanny is not in the habit of loitering. The dragon likes to attend the biggest role-playing games in Europe and other events. At these events, many people can feel like knights of myths and legends and try to tame the fire-breathing dragon. And let's finish with an unusual record that you probably didn't even know about. The fastest turtle in the world. That's what it sounds like. That's an odd name for a record, isn't it? But the record holder is really impressive. In 2015, the turtle named Birdie became the fastest of all its relatives. It can accelerate to a kilometer-per-hour speed and cover a distance of about 5.5 meters in just 19.5 seconds. It's certainly not the speed of Usain Bolt, but still very good. By the way, the reptile itself is called Usain Bolt in the world of turtles. The previous record for the speed of turtles was set in 1971 in Britain, when the turtle named Charlie accelerated to a 0.4 km/h speed. It turns out that a few decades later, Birdie was more than twice as fast as Charlie. Given that, it's possible that no one will be able to break Birdie's record, at least not in the near future. That's all, guys. Which record from this video impressed you the most? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you later.